Special one today. We are going to be talking, of course, about our favorite thing is, uh, I guess,
Racism.
racism. Racism is one of our favorite things to talk about. So we're gonna.
Because we're black.
No, I stumbled across this video. Yeah, because we're black. I stumbled across this video on YouTube, and I don't know. You haven't seen the whole video, right?
I only saw you show me the images. I haven't actually heard the actual audio
All right, so there was like a news report where they talked about like how AI is being used for racism, which is just
Sounds
like,
about right.
yeah, it's just like something like you can't, you know,
Give you Americans anything.
yeah. I mean, like, damn.
I mean, y'all explain everything.
So let's watch it, and we'll give you our thoughts on it. Shayla hasn't really, so I haven't seen the whole thing because it's hard. It's kind of unbearable to watch most of it, but I think it's just.
And he's the tame one out of the two, so if it's unbearable for him, I know it's gonna set me off.
It's just a good conversation though to have about like um the future of AI and how it could be utilized, and um and how, I'm sure, like I said, like it's funny how it was so quickly used to target our um our demographic. But let's just check this out. Hold your
By the way, I really like the job you did earlier on cutting my hair.
Oh,
I like it short.
Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah, so
It's gonna be bold to keep cutting it shorter though.
wow.
You can tell this is AI because he is cooperating.
Don't make me run from you.
Don't make me tase you.
If I'm being honest, when I saw your name, I almost skipped the resume. Thought it was one of those diversity hires. Talks like he's trying to be one of us, dresses like he's trying to scare us. No wonder nobody takes you seriously.
Hey, Spider-Man, you got any spare chain?
How about you get a job, you Nick?
Hey, you got any chicken and watermelon, boy?
I don't laugh. I mean, like,
What's the he's eating the gorilla?
Think that's the worst of it?
that part was funny. You think
Here it
that's
is.
the worst?
This picking cotton is easy. All these other just complaining. But that's why Massa loves me. I put in the work.
You're not supposed
Do
to
you
laugh.
want a whip or are you going to double it for the next monkey?
You're not
Bitch,
supposed
you're
to
going to hit me either
Right.
way.
You're not supposed
You're
to
right.
laugh at this.
What do you do in your free time?
You was
Not sure what
supposed
you
to
mean
laugh
by
at
free,
this.
but I like
Oh
speedrunning
my
cotton rows for
God.
personal bests.
Where did you get that
I
tattoo?
don't know.
Ours like that.
Marking came with my chains. Didn't choose the design.
When are you taking a break?
I don't know.
Still waiting on HR to approve my vacation since 1802.
So do you want to get whipped once or double
Oh
it and
my
pass it
God.
on to the next poor soul?
Bitch, you gonna whip me regardless of what I say?
That's true.
I asked Massa for a raise, and he
Massa.
raised the whip and beat the shit out of me.
This is wild.
Put it up for a mask. All right. AI software. Creating racist videos. Creating such videos has become more accessible to the average user now, where the only limit is your
Who's making it?
imagination,
I don't know who's making
even if that imagination happens to be racist as hell.
Yeah, I don't know who's
Based
making it.
Well, they
on
got the
the
TikToks
watermark
up
of some of
there.
these clips, the software used to create this was VO3AI,
Yeah, on the
an app
images, the
developed by
freeze framed
Google
images they had.
where users can write a prompt and the software would generate realistic imagery. It's one of many tools used to
Yo, you're not
achieve
supposed to laugh at this.
such videos. All right, so we're in the
Really
land of
not supposed
make-believe
to laugh
again,
at this.
and typically individuals have the right to freedom of
What
speech.
person was
This is a free speech dynamic, as tasteless as it may be.
But you know, it's always
And
one.
we had a
They be
debate
trying
not
to
too
throw
long ago
everybody
on
else
Indisputable
under.
about
Oh
Section
my God.
230 and how platforming such racist comment or commentary should be
This guy's real,
restricted or
right?
refereed
Yeah.
in a more,
See, that's how
let's
AI
just say,
has become.
honorable fashion on social media platforms when publishing such content. All right, dear brother, you are in this arena yourself because of the comedic dynamics that are allegedly associated with some of this kind of
Is they
stuff. And
black? I wonder if
yeah,
they black.
it definitely has some extreme
You looked it
context.
up?
But what say you?
Oh, I don't need to hear
What
all
I
this.
say is racists are always so clever. Why are they always
Right.
ahead of the trend? They will get on anything and get to anywhere just to be racist. We have AI technology. This could help save humanity. And what's
This
the
is what I
first
wanted
thing
to
that
talk
they
about.
do is go out and make racist content. How did they get so good at programming in the first place? Let's talk about that.
That's
They
a
should be
good one.
giving classes.
In the
That
first
was some
place.
great AI technology use, but always and as often for the wrong thing. Honestly, you know why we don't have aliens on this planet yet? Is because to the rest of the universe, Earth is the ghetto. Aliens lock their spaceships when they fly by. We are exactly what they depict in those videos, which are despicable, horrible videos. And the fact that people are doing them shows you how bad it is for us.
Well, most of them was
That's right.
they
And
were
just
all in
one
English, so
point
I
of
think we know
clarification,
who
dear
was
brother, they prefer to be called extraterrestrials than aliens. I learned that a few months ago.
Imagine being able to build anything for any reason.
All right, man. So yeah, so aside from you laughing hysterically at this
That
stuff,
was so wrong. He said, I don't know what the rest of these ends is complaining about. Oh my God.
yeah, aside from that,
That's that.
yeah. So what are your thoughts on? I guess one of the things that like I want to hear is like, well, what are your general thoughts on like that this stuff is being created?
With the guy said in the clip, Tehran, the comedian. We're the worst of the worst. Like, and I would say, like, I go back to saying Americans because most of those videos, well, all the videos were in English.
Yeah.
So I think we know who is sitting up there twiddling away over there. But, and not to say isn't racism in every other part of the world,
Yeah.
but, you know, this is a country that made a big stink over wearing a mask to make sure that we didn't kill off more than 1 million people. And made mask, which was for a health crisis, made mask a civil rights issue.
Yeah.
So are we really surprised that in the opportunity to make, I mean, as soon as they were allowed to say the N-word on Twitter, everybody lost their mind and said, fine, I'm just gonna say the N-word because I can say it. So I think that we really shouldn't be surprised that once you get a hold of technology like AI, that's the first inclination that people have. For some reason,
The first inclination, like, yeah, this is so it's
people
still in its,
they like low hanging fruit.
it's in its infancy, and they're already doing videos like this.
Yeah, it just it's we're like the last in the world in education. So it's low hanging fruit. You know, if instead of us using technology, like you said, to think of ways to cure
Yeah.
illnesses or to help maybe tighten the wealth gap, create more jobs, anything else that could possibly make society better, our first inclination is let's punch down at 13% of the population. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, we get it. Y'all don't like black people.
I think for me, it is the same thing. It is like, like this technology could do so much more, and people seem to be very gifted with using the technology, but however, they're like, the first thing they think of is like to create something racist.
The gorilla and the fried chicken is wild. Y'all was dirty for that. They was dirty for that one. And then ask for some watermelon too. I mean, that's diabolical.
Now,
I need to see the image again.
now that's the thing too that makes it even worse. Like, it was like so racist, it was funny. It was so like it's one of those things like it's like I think Dave Chappelle made a joke about that before where he was like, have you ever seen something so racist you just had to laugh type of thing? And it was just like that was like one of those like, oh man, this is so racist. It's just like it's just so blatantly disrespectful and so blatantly racist that you just like I can't even get mad because someone really thought created this and was like, yeah, I'm standing on this. And I just like, I don't know, like to me, that's diabolical. Like I said, like to put that much time and energy into like this and thought It's impressive. It is impressive to make AI like racist um videos, right? Like so it's like it's not enough to tweet racism. It's not enough to like um to like support racist politicians or whatever. It's like now even we got to get technology into it. And I think one of the biggest issues that I do have with it, one, it as of right now, there's a lot of um they're trying to control like people being fooled by AI. So,
Yes.
but as AI advances and they try to get around it, these videos may become more and more realistic, and you don't know what's going to be real and what's not going to be real. And then on top of that, you know, people are going to watch this, think that people really are interacting with black people this way, or that maybe the videos get even worse where they're going to create black people images of black people doing certain things that aren't true to perpetuate a stereotype. And and then that's just what's going to keep it right. Like what I learned about like racism, and I learned about like slavery, and how like one of the theories of how slavery, and like I said, I'm calling it theory, but I believe it's a fact, is factual because I read about it. You know what I mean? But reading doesn't always mean it's factual because it's in a book. But that
But it being in a book helps.
yeah.
Some
At
of
least I
it
read one, right?
go off with some.
So slavery was orchestrated by the French
Mm-hmm.
to normalize owning human beings, right? Like
Right.
so basically what they did was make the image of the black man African subhuman,
Mm-hmm.
and create like so because you of course like the concept of slavery would be so foreign to people if you've never seen it. So you'd be like, how are you just gonna just own people and make them work for free? So what do you do is you say, well, they're not really humans.
They apologized to being colonizers and to what they did to black
And this isn't an
in
attack on
2015. No. I just want to make it a point of how America's never done that.
oh
But their president at the time, we were in France, my family and I, when they apologized to the black countries that they colonized and the persons that they enslaved. I don't know about Haiti, but
well
I know they
yeah.
did it to pretty much every place else.
So and I mean like I said, and I'm not gonna like first of all, apology. I don't know. Yeah, the government can apologize,
Reparations would be nice.
but I also don't know what the people how they feel, right? Like the people could be like, yeah, you could apologize, like because America could apologize. The American government can apologize for slavery. Doesn't mean that the American people feel that way, right? Because there's a lot of American people who are making videos like this.
I agree. It's just the fact that we don't even acknowledge slavery
Yeah,
anymore in this society, too. I didn't mean to cut you off, but it's the fact that it doesn't even get acknowledged. It's treated as though
yeah.
it's something that it's just like that interview that woman we saw. I can't remember what we were watching, was on YouTube, and she was like, "How many, that the Jewish populations was that their Holocaust was not too long ago. Like you
Mm-hmm.
don't have to hear about it every day like you have to hear about ours."
Yeah,
I never like to match pain for pain because I
yeah,
just think that that is just
yeah, yeah,
so subhuman.
yeah.
But just like we believe that you should always remember the victims of the Holocaust and remember what was done to a population of people, to, you know, a group of people unjustly,
Mm-hmm.
and just, it was just so disgusting. I feel that the same should be for black. And the reason that you hear so much of it here in America is because it happened to black people here.
Yeah.
They were brought here. And if you've never seen what the inside of a Middle Passage ship look like,
Yeah, I actually have. Yeah.
you might want to look that up because I know they don't have no books or nothing in school teaching y'all that. So you might want to see what the images of that is, because it's literally like a human stacked on top of a human. Like if you don't even like to be in New York on a subway with someone like on top of you,
Yeah.
or anything, an elevator where you're you're squished into capacity, that is what people were doing across oceans.
Yeah.
In a time where it took a very long time to get there. And not everybody survived. Some people commit like death by suicide because they didn't want to go to what was, if they were able to break free and get to above deck, they would jump off into the ocean knowing that they were going to their death.
Yeah.
But that was better for them than what they didn't even know what was waiting for them, which was 400 years of forced unpaid labor.
Yeah. I mean, you
And
know,
being owned like cattle.
yeah, when I do research, or if I when I do have like these thoughts of it, I do get some type of anxiety because we were blessed to be born in this era. And it's crazy to say that we're blessed to be born in an era where that wouldn't happen to us, because that shouldn't ever happen anyway. Like, it shouldn't be a blessing, it should just be normal not to be born during an era where, but yeah, I get anxiety just the thought of
Oh
like
my gosh, thinking of laying on top of
like
something like,
or I see, I didn't even make it that far. Like, I'm thinking like you just mind your business on the continent of Africa. You're in West Africa. You mind your business, enjoying your village, and then some a culture that you have never seen before
yeah, that's true.
shows up on your shores with weapons that you've never seen before and snatch you away from your family.
Yes, snatch you away.
And when I read about this, was the wildest thing. It was like in the middle of like the boat ride or whatever, like you realize that you'll never see your family ever again.
Oh yeah.
You'll never see your land again. They just like you. It's
And you
just
didn't even speak the language. They didn't speak
yeah,
the language that these
yeah,
colonizers, these slave entrap, these like slavers or
yeah,
whatever they called them, because they were coming to colonize another land
yeah,
that wasn't even theirs. But they didn't even speak the language, so they're ripped away, like you said, from home, religion. I think there's a lot of people right now that can understand what that feels like.
yeah, yeah.
So could you imagine, like, just as everyone's horrified by watching it now in real time,
Mm.
that is something that a whole race of people, like, if it wasn't for slavery, Rel and I wouldn't even look like this.
Mhm.
We are literally, descendants of a race of people that have been multi-diluted, through raping and pillaging. And I mean, it's just like you said, it gives me so much anxiety to think about. I didn't even like people standing on top of me on the subway when we lived in New York. So I can only imagine like living
Yeah,
like that. And like you said, I can only imagine that in Middle Passage. So it's almost like, thank God we were born in this, in the era we were born in, because, we got to see so many different things and changes. I mean, but I also have parents that saw integration. Like, they
yeah,
remember when schools were segregated.
yeah,
My mom was really young, but my dad wasn't that much older either. And so they remember what it was like to go to a school that was integrated for the first time. I mean, that's like crazy to me that we're only just like
yeah.
a
Oh, yeah.
generation or so separated from, 2 generations separated from that.
2 generations from that, 4 generations from being owned. You know, it's
Y'all up here making videos talking about picking cotton. I want to see y'all pick some cotton. I ain't lying. I really want to see folks that think slavery and Jim Crow and all this stuff is funny. I want to see them actually commit, like actually do some real time in it, right? Like do the cotton, experience lashes, know what it's
mhm,
like to be ripped away from your home and your family, your religion, anything that you knew, your dialect, like what you speak.
yeah,
You're being forced into a language and to worship something you didn't worship before. Like, I want people to maybe that they'll understand what that's like
yeah,
and wouldn't make fun of it. And that's the thing that ticks me off when people say they they don't want to make the current generations of kids feel bad for what several generations or their ancestors did to a race of people. It's like, teach them so they don't make videos like this.
yeah.
Because I'm gonna tell you right now, no 60 or 70-year-old learning VO3.
Well,
These
yeah,
are some young people making those videos.
I think that's also the part that is a little scary. One, like assuming that they paid for VO3, right? Like you're investing money to create racist videos to garner popularity,
So you're at least 50 or under.
and you're a young person who's hasn't really who are now a couple of generations away from Jim Crow. So that means that this type of rhetoric and this type of things is still being educated in the homes, still being passed down. So when they say that racism is over in America, then you see this is like, how is it over? How is racism done if these type of tools are being used in, like I said, with people who are 50 years and under to push these narratives, right? Like I mean, obviously, like if in on social media too, that's the other thing too. So they're making these videos
Right.
and then using social media to reach a broad audience. So that's just like how dangerous it is still to this day. And I get like, this is something that I think a lot of people, a lot of black people right now don't even want to address and approach the situation because we just kind of want to be like in a happy place, and we want to be like, why must we sit in trauma? Why must we feed this energy? But it's like we have to pay attention to it, because if you don't, like, history repeats itself. If you don't address the problem at the root, it's just going to continue to spread like a weed. You know what I mean? It's going to spread across all across the
Right.
yard. So we got to kind of keep our eye and on the prize, and make sure that we don't lose sight of, like, there's real problems. There's still real racism. There's still people who just hate for the sake of hating. So
Hmm.
obviously, right? Like if you woke up and said,
That's
I'm
the
gonna make
video
this
you
video,
decided
yeah,
to make. Like you said, especially if they pay for VO3. Because you can't make that for on a trial.
nah,
Like you
nah, I
have to
don't think
pick,
so.
and that's what you
Yeah,
sitting up there
yeah,
making. And then the jokes about the unarmed black men, like, oh my gosh,
yeah,
I don't know which one was worse. Like the man said, the
yeah,
interlude, like, those aren't the worst of them. Like,
yeah.
and the slave jokes, the slave comedy with the cornstalk,
Yeah.
using that as a mic.
And I mean, like I said, like in the fact that it looks so realistic, and you sat and just say, "Oh, this going, you know, online," and it's just like, I don't know, man. Like you got to be super lame to make that, but
Yeah, you do, because they wouldn't make that joke in nobody's face. Let me
yeah.
just say that.
So I mean, I just wanted to share that with
Oh,
people, because
awful.
like, to give commentary, because this stuff is going on online, and
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody's actually like addressing it. You know what I mean? Like, people may laugh at it or may leave a comment, but I think it needs a little deeper analysis of why it's such a dangerous thing, and dangerous thing to use. And also with AI, because AI is machine learning,
Oh,
LLM.
you teaching machines how to be racist
You're
too.
teaching them
Congrats.
how people perceive, you know what I mean? Like, so yeah. So like, like, and because machines don't have the ability to, like,
Decipher what's going
decipher,
on.
yeah, so it's just going to think like, oh, okay, this is when you see faces like this, and this is how they act, you know so that's what you're teaching these systems too. So like, this could have a hell of a ripple effect if we're not smart about things. So